After the failure of the aluminium welding rods, I remembered that I had some of this. This is Belzona. It's like JB Weld, but on steroids. This stuff is phenomenal. It's a serious piece of kit, and it's actually used for repairing keyways in shafts. So it'll take a serious amount of pressure, unlike JB Weld, which will just shatter and crush out the way it can be machined. It'll take heat. I've used it for repairing a keyway on the end of a crankshaft on the front pulley, which had a massive great pulley wheel on it, and it's still going to this day, 10 years later. So this stuff I'm going to attempt to repair this broken lug with. At least that way we'll stand a fighting chance of not having to buy a new part. Now, quite often people laugh at me for using a bit and brace, but this has got an adjustable bit in, so I can drill any size hole I like. So we're going to make a hole in this, hopefully the right size to put this in, and then that will give us something to use as a former. So I'm just going to drill a quick hole with this. It shouldn't take long. It hasn't got to be very deep, so we'll just see how it goes. And there we have it, one hole, the right size for this. This just fits in there like that, which means that I can then fill in this with a bit of something, and I can use that as a flat plate to mould some sort of new lug on there with this Belzona stuff, and we'll see how that works out. It's got to be better than paying 30 quid for 2 aluminium brazing rods that won't last 10 seconds because they'll all disappear and most of it will end up on the floor. Okay, so I've covered it in masking tape now, and we'll just mix up some Belzona and start applying it. So we'll start with the actual compound itself. This stuff is messy. It's not very pleasant to use. It works best with a bit of heat. So the black one is the actual product itself. And I think I'll take a little lump like that. Okay, put the lid back on. This stuff, I don't use very much of it at all. It was £100 a tub when I last bought any, but it has saved me so many times. It doesn't actually owe me anything anymore. So right, so that's that one, and I'll use the other side of the spatula now that's clean and get out roughly a similar sort of amount. This stuff doesn't mix particularly well, so we'll get a similar sort of amount on there, and you have to really, the solidifier is solid. It's like a putty, like cold putty, so you have to warm it up slightly as you go. That's done by just mixing it. It does work quite well, but it takes some serious mixing. It takes about half an hour to go off. The colder it is, the slower it goes off. So I'll mix that across now. This stuff is fabulous. It's saved me so many times when I've needed to repair something made of metal. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, actually. It's probably better than the aluminium welding rods. So that is about mixed now. Okay. Try applying it with a Stanley blade to start with. It's really difficult stuff to use. So I'll try applying some in there first of all. Oh, got it everywhere, look. So I'll get that in there, and I'll sort of force it in with a bit of a drill bit. I don't know if this is going to work, but it's worth a try. And if I can just make a sort of a fairly large blob, hopefully I can file it to shape. This stuff machines quite well as well. You might have to do it in 2 lumps, you know. It's already started going off, and hopefully if everything goes to plan, we should end up with a little lug shaped part which I can then build on and add more and more layers. I think I'll leave it at that for now because I'm just making a mess. Sometimes the best thing to do with this is just leave it alone and let it do its thing. and deal with it afterwards. So I'll let that set now. It's not the best, but it's a start. Okay, so as I was saying, this stuff should win product of the year. It is phenomenally strong. The question is how well it'll actually stick. Hopefully I've left enough masking tape on there to be able to just peel all the masking tape off, shape the part, and then we'll have something to build on later. Yeah, it's really sticky stuff. Don't stick it on your 5-year-old and try and glue them into their high chair with it. You will not get it off them. Okay, so I've now got this in front of the fire. Fair distance away, but you know, I've got to warm the part up, help with the curing process, and then we can start filing it to shape, put another couple of layers on, and hopefully eventually you won't be able to tell the difference. Okay, so I've taken it off the piece of wood now. It's set enough, and I've got it on the stove curing, and it's got a reasonable shape to it. I mean, it's proper hard, and it's set like metal almost. Rock hard. We'll let that cure overnight and gently let the stove cool down. And it's probably about 80 degrees, something like that, 70, 80 degrees. And it needs that to cure the last little bit. As you get longer, it can take more temperature. So we'll leave that to cure and then we'll start filing it to shape. I've been filing this for about 20 minutes, half an hour now. And it is just like filing steel. So I'm reshaping the part slowly, very slowly. It's come out really well actually. There's a little bit left to do, just around here mostly. This face here needs to be flattened back some more. There's a little bit of a lip just there, you can see it. Just here there's a little bit of a lip, so this whole face has to come down a bit more. It's got a lovely crisp edge now. You can see that there. It just files so wonderfully, it really does. It's very slow to cut, but it's got incredible strength, and I'll get this all filed back and reshaped and the hole drilled, and we'll see if it fits. Now I've lined up a piece of masking tape over the hole. I've got this in the right position, and we can see that I'm missing a corner of this. Now this needs to be along here and down here, so I need to build up this corner a bit, and then we can drill the hole. That dot there is the centre of where the hole should be, so obviously I haven't got enough room to drill the hole. I have to extend it out a bit, so we'll make a bit more, add a bit more to it, and away we go. Okay, so I've added some more, and hopefully when that sets we'll be able to shape it properly and make it look reasonably good. So I've got the final layer of Belzona going on now. We'll file this off, get it to shape and drill the hole. There it is, finally finished. All built up out of Belzona. Nice crisp edges. All sorted out. Does the job. We'll get that put on, get the hole drilled, get the hole marked and drilled, and put on. Okay, so I've marked with a piece of tape the centre of the hole, and then I've lined those marks up with a dot on the part. So if I take the part out now, you can see what I've done. I've lined the hole up with a couple of marks, then pop this in roughly the right place, like so, and the holes line up. And just like that, there's the hole drilled. It's quite an accurate method of marking out. So now we can pop a bolt in there and check it fits. There we are, there's the hole all drilled in, and you've got a nice even gap all the way around. That hole is dead centre. That's the part finished. We'll just shot blast the rest of the casing and paint it, and that should be the job done. Another part saved, and 30 quid saved. There it is in all its glory, final repair. You wouldn't really know it was ever repaired, to be honest. Perfect, and that'll be as strong as it was the day it was made. So, was that a success? Yes, I think it was. I think if you've got a more delicate part, you need to employ a method of repairing it that's not going to destroy the part, a non-destructive method of repair. With the alley brazing was destructive. I had to heat the alley up and melt it to effectively get the braze to stick. Unfortunately, the alley itself melted before the brazing material did. With this, you don't have to apply lots of heat, just a gentle warmth to warm it through, and anything too much can be filed off and more added in the right place. And the part itself is not at risk really, compared to serious methods of repair like welding, which if you're a very skilled welder, probably beyond my capability with the equipment I've got for alley welding, or the home DIY. I think this is definitely the best way of repairing something like this, especially as I had experience with this product before, so I know how strong it is, and it really is like JB Weld on steroids. It's just so immensely strong. If I had put a blob of it down, I might make a blob of it later and hit it with a hammer and show you exactly how strong it is. To see the spec of the stuff, we'll put that up on our Patreon page. So another thing repaired successfully. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Don't miss out on what's coming next. And don't forget, at the end of the month, we've got the free giveaway, so get yourselves in the door for that. Patreon/Smiths Marine. Ta-ra!